Hello, hello. Welcome to Life with Paulette. Hope all is well with each and every one of you guys. It's Aloha Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, guys. Hope you all are having an amazing time today. That your schedule is going like smooth like butter. Okay? Hope all is well with each and every one of you guys. Today is another beautiful day in Hawaii. The sun is out. The weather is perfect. And as I'm going to pick up my Lyft ride, I just want to come on and do a little Shmoney Talk with you guys to catch up, from January to now, where we're at in the gig economy. And I just want you all to know that when it comes to the restaurant industry at this point in time, you're all probably noticing a lot of, lower base pays. You're noticing a lot of the tip has gone down. Yes, comparing to last year, when it's at the peak during the holiday, January, when it comes to the food and industry right now, everything going back to below the basics because you may not be seeing that amount that you were making back then. So I just want you all to know, don't get discouraged. Pull up your apps, register on the driving app. Right now I'm doing Lyft. I have scheduled pickup me. Normally, if you're only on one app, you can only, you're going to feel the difference, okay? But if you're on multiple apps, you really don't feel anything because you're just filling in the little empty spaces with another job. So you always have job. It's good to have multiple jobs wherever you go so that way you don't feel like you're falling short that day. So today is on a Wednesday. I did a little bit of DoorDash this morning. DoorDash on a Wednesday right after a drought on Tuesday. Y'all know it, not much going on over there. So I tend to just try to do a few orders on the way heading home on DoorDash, probably an hour, maybe two on my way home with the DoorDash app. Mainly Walmart Spark has also went down to a really low space when it comes to paying. They're definitely making you run more miles like a DoorDash than money. So I would highly suggest you are on just those two apps. You are feeling you can't make that threshold the way you used to make it back during the holidays. So I will advise everybody to switch up a little bit, change it up, guys. Go ahead. In the gig economy, yes, there's money to be made, but you also got to be very clever and also have to know how to work the system. Okay, so the driving app, like I mentioned to you guys before, is one of the hot spot right now when it comes to paying you a little bit more compared to the food deliveries. Okay, so that's a tip for you guys that's out there that's wondering why the food delivery industry is down. It's just that not a lot of tipping. People probably still paying for their last year's gifts that they gave out, or they're probably still trying to catch up in the negative, so they don't have a whole lot of tips to give you. So don't be looking for those big tips anymore, because right now everybody's in the reserving stage. Okay, however, though, the Lyft app, the Uber Drive, those driving apps for me at this point in time, as we in the beginning of March, everything is increasing. There's people that's still running from the winter and the cold seasons into the summer, which is Hawaii is a tropical, so everybody's running over here. So you tend to get a lot faster ride offers than the normal, okay? Because people are still running from the cold. I had people that 5 in a row that was coming from Washington State, New York, New Jersey. I had people from Chicago, people just coming down because it's still a little cold over there and they're getting tired and they need a week off with some heat, enjoying some nice sun like you're all noticing outside. So they tend to travel, a lot of traveling, even in areas like probably Japan and all those other area outskirts. They're definitely cold. It's snowing someplace, okay? So they're running to tropical areas like the islands, the Caribbeans. So you're gonna have a lot more ride share activity going on because of that. So be mindful. Don't be scared. I was scared at the beginning as well. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I don't want nobody in my car. I don't feel like I want to have a conversation with strangers. And you're going to have your ups and downs when it comes to the ride share. You're going to have good times. You're going to have in between. And you're going to have people that you're like, I don't ever want to do this again. But then yet you have more positive than negative. And that's one thing that goes both ways with the restaurant industry, the food industry, and with the ride share. You're going to have more positive than negative. And whatever you do, you're going to have more. Make sure you're thinking more positive than you are doing negative. Because let me tell you, those Debbie Downers out there, they're going to come at you. They're going to be saying, why would you doing that? You're not scared? No, we ain't scared, because we're prayed up and you be covered. So when you go outside, yes, things is going to happen, but you're not hoping for it to happen. You're hoping to go home and get back in one piece, because you have your family you got to go and attend to, right? So nobody's thinking negative. And if you're that person that got to drop that negative seed, check yourself. Don't be telling people, don't do that. Just be grateful that somebody is doing something to create something and not having to bother nobody or disturb nobody. Don't take nothing off of you for speaking positive. Just speak positive. If somebody's doing something, give them high five, tell them they got this, they can do it. You may not be able to do it, but that don't mean the other person can't. And you may be thinking that I'm not going to do that because somebody may hit me side of the head, but the other person may not be thinking like that. They may be thinking like, you know what, I can see me coming out of debt. I can see me doing this so that I can release extra income into my household. People do things, everybody do things differently. Everybody do things for different reason. A side gig in this gig economy is definitely a plus for anybody. It's like a free raise you give yourself, and you could give yourself however amount you want per day. Okay, once you set yourself off and say, I finished my 9 to 5 job from 5 to 7, 2 hours I want to put in. I want to give myself a $20 raise, a $5 raise, because trust me, it's going to be, regardless of those 2 hours, it's going to be more money than you're going to receive if you had asked your boss for a raise. Some of you all been asking for a raise now for over a year, maybe 9, 7, 8, 5 years, and you probably got 50 cents extra a month, maybe $1, maybe $2 extra for, just because they want to say you're a good employee. You may have got a plant with it. You never know. However, though, why would I have to beg for a raise when I could give myself a raise within the gig economy? Just go ahead and just go and do the work. Put the work in. But guys, today was going to be a nice little short one because I am a few minutes from picking up my next Lyft ride, and I just wanted to come on here and let you all know, don't get discouraged. I know the restaurant industry is definitely not giving you guys what you were used to since the holiday. So you just try a different app and go over into the rideshare. Maybe you'll find something that's working for you and that will work best for you. You may enjoy it, do 2 to 3 of those Lyft rides. Sometimes you get the Lyft ride, like me this morning. I got a Lyft ride. The lady scheduled her Lyft ride through a third-party app for Lyft, right? So I'm communicating with a third-party app, and they pin her at an apartment complex, right? Well, each one has a number. So this apartment complex that they pinned me to was a K. Well, she was at L. I didn't know that because there was nothing in the notes that say so. So up come the little old lady. She had a stroke a few days ago, and she was fighting going to the hospital because she said all they do is give you sleeping pills and they don't do nothing for you. So she could have self-medicated herself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let me get to this lady. So I get to her. She comes out. And she's like, I was wondering why you were over at K. I was like, ma'am, I only can go where I'm pinned at. Unless there's details, information in the app, I can get there. Otherwise, I'm just driving to the pin. Because if I'm not at that pin, guess what? They ain't paying me the extra $2 for the person that they cancel or not. So make sure if you are on Lyft, a little tip I'm going to give you, don't be going all over the place. You make sure you pull up and hit arrive at the pin. And then you figure out, where the person is. And sometimes the person may be in a garage somewhere. You got to go find them. But if that person is a no-show, hint, hint, and you're not at that pin, you're not getting paid. I'm just telling you. It happened to me several times where people will pin one place and they're at another place and they want you to find them, and then all of a sudden they cancel. But the moment you pull up to them, they cancel on you. You don't get paid. And I have to call Lyft. You got to call customer service. You got to prove your point. And it's sometimes they'll help you out, and sometimes you're so frustrated with customer service, which I always tell you guys, don't get frustrated with no customer service, because they can write you up in secret behind closed doors. You're not noticing it, but you could be right up somewhere, and then all of a sudden you're blackballed. So we don't want you all blackballed. I just want you all to know, anytime you have to deal with customer service, you make sure that you're in the calmest place that you can be possible. Okay, the other thing I wanted to add on what I was just telling you about on these Lyft app, wherever you're pinned, that is where you want to be at, because you're not going to get paid the extra just in case there's a no-show. Say sometime your timer go out after 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, oops, well, at least I'll get half pay. I'll get my $2. No, you're not going to get paid. And if you don't get paid, make sure you call customer service and let them know. But you got to remember which ride did it for you. Otherwise, then they won't know and you won't know, and then you end up losing money. We don't want to lose money here, okay? So all I want to let you know is, don't get weary in well doing. And some days is going to be better than others, and those days that are going to be lower than others, you make sure that you go ahead and take advantage of those days. And then you're going to find a few days that's going to be a little bit so overwhelming with so much blessing that's going to be coming your way, you can't handle it, okay? And that's the one you really want to be praying for all the time. But it don't happen like that, okay? Some days you're going to get good days, and some days you're not going to get good days. It's going to be some tough days where you're going to have to multi-app. But in the process, guys, go ahead out there, make that shmoney. Give yourself a raise today by picking an app, register on all of them, and go ahead and make it happen, because she is definitely in her bag, and we're making it happen over here in Hawaii. So wherever you're at, remember, all zones is going to be different. They're not created equal, but I'm letting you know from my perspective and my location, Hawaii on Wednesday, when it comes to Lyft around this time, is real hot spot. Real hot. The food deliveries this morning, like I said, I tried DoorDash again right after the drought on Tuesday, and it didn't work for me because it was a bit, you got sporadical orders here, and DoorDash is just not trying to do it for you anyway. So kudos to them, but I have other places that I can go and get my little raise for the day. But anyway, guys, I am 1 minute away from my pickup, and I just want to tell you all, if you're just coming in, go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you all for here. Don't forget, go ahead and make your money, get in the gig economy. And thank you for joining me today on a little Shmoney Talk. Okay, talk to you all later. Deuces, bye. I'll be the good eve, baby. Bye bye.